All sleepy. As Michael J. said, my name is Jeff Stier. I'm an executive director with Connect. I think I was here about a year ago. I think I had just promoted to executive director, maybe a little while, and I had to stand up here for like an hour and 20 minutes to stall because Rob was late. Anybody remembers that?
Oh, yeah.
I kept looking at Bears. I'm like, how much longer do I have to be? He said, keep talking. I don't know what to say. So I'm glad to be here tonight. It was a long, kind of crazy drive. You'd get sun and snow, but we made it, and I'm glad that we're here to talk to you tonight. So here's the thing I wanted to talk to you about. How many of you, by raising a raise of hands, have seen the presentation before? Okay, I saw the eyes roll while you did that. How many of you have probably seen it 1,000 times? How many of you are tired of seeing the presentation and not seeing the numbers on the presentation in your bank account? Okay, right? I mean, we all look at it, we go, oh, the $11,812.07. Oh. And then you come back, and the next time you come back, your business pretty much looks the same. It's a lot of us, right? We come to the meetings, and I'm not saying don't come. It's good to show up. But if you're going to show up with some growth. Show up with having done something from the previous time, so that when you see the slide again, you don't go, oh, how nice it would be if my business looked like what's up on the slide. Because here's the thing, anybody in this room can have what's up on the slides. Now, disclaimer, will everyone have $11,812 a month? No. Does everybody really need 11? I mean, it'd be nice, right? You're just shaking her head. It's just like, yeah, I need 11,000. But I believe it was Brian that said that the average person that's in foreclosure is about $500 away from saving their house. I think too often, and this is really a training tip for the associates in the room, too often, if we're doing the presentation, we kind of skip over the $500 a month because we think it's not going to impress the person that we're sitting with. We think we got to get to the big money because that's what's going to wow them. And maybe that's true for some people. But I will tell you, for most people, $11,812 is too big for them. Jim Rohn said, go as far as you can see, and when you get there, you can see further. Most people can't see $11,000 a month. I would argue most can't even see $500 a month. You know what I really get people excited about? The immediate income slide. Because you know what? That's money they can make immediately. And then if they get there, then start talking about, hey, well, you got that immediate income. Maybe you're 2 or 3 customers away from free energy. We didn't mention that tonight. Actually, round of applause for Brian Dilsheimer. Did a great job on that. Woo! The one thing I wish that they had in the presentation was the free energy. They kind of took that out, and they expect us to remember to say it. But the reality is, how nice is it to have a handful of customers and get a passive residual check on those 15 customers? So you have that new associate, you get them excited about immediate income. They get a few of those bonuses. And then you say, let's go for your 15 customers and let's get you that free energy. And then you build, and then you build, and then you build. We get a new person, we go, we're going to go for $11,000 in a Mercedes. You just joined yesterday. I would argue that that scares some people that we bring into the business. Because how many of you started this business part-time? How many of you have people on your team that are in this business part-time? They're thinking, oh my God, I don't even make $11,000 in my full-time job. How am I going to do? They can't see the real power of this business. See, in this business, unlike a job is all on what you do, right? This business is all on what you start. I talked about the deck of cards. Michael J. was the ace. Now, I flipped 39 cards, 39 associates personally sponsored, and then sponsored him. Most people don't get to 39 personally sponsored associates because they think, oh man, the first one I sponsored, thought they were going to be the one. So I'll go out and I'll muster up enough energy to go get one more. Oh, my business sucks. I suck. This is terrible. Here's the thing. Michael J. didn't say the number, but I believe it was 10 or 11 associates you sponsored since Synergy?
10.
10. 10. Personal, not on his team. 10 associates personally sponsored since Synergy. What is the likelihood that a Michael J. will find a Michael J. with 10 as opposed to with 1? It's a lot more likely.
10 times.
What is your primary thing that you do? CPA. What's the primary thing you do? Hey, that's a nice thing to do. What's the primary thing you do? Metrics analyst. That sounds...
For a bank.
Okay, sounds exciting. No. What's the primary thing you do?
Retired.
Oh, look at this. I had a lot of retired. Anybody else have a job? What do you do?
Insurance.
Insurance. Notice I said, what's the primary thing you do? I didn't say what's the thing you do full time. The primary thing should be this. Think about it. I have a friend of mine named Bob Purcell. He works full-time at a job kind of like yours. Couldn't even explain what it is that he does. Usually he starts by saying, what I do is kind of boring and hard to understand. That's usually what he says. He goes, but what I really do is I'm a comedian. Now he's full-time at that other job and part-time as a comedian, but guess what? When Bob goes to work, what's he thinking about? Comedy, jokes. When he's on lunch, what do you think he's doing? Writing jokes, watching clips, stand-up clips on YouTube. When he gets off of work, what do you think he's doing? Going to an open mic night, trying out jokes. What do you think he does on the weekend when he's not working? Fixes all the crappy jokes that didn't work at the open mic night. But he's part-time. But the primary thing he does is comedy. I would argue maybe the primary thing you do is be retired, which is great. And that's okay. See, you have to also understand that everyone is different. Everyone will want different things. If you want $200 a month, then the primary thing should be retired. And the extra couple $100 will give you supplemental income. But for the people that sit in the room and they say, I want what's up there, that does not come by accident. Really, I don't believe in luck all that much. People will say, oh, you got lucky. You found Michael J. I said, no, I was prepared when I found him. I got lucky. Somebody else could have met him, though, and maybe didn't sponsor him because they weren't prepared. So luck will find you when you're out looking for it, right? When you're out working for it. So if you have a job or you have something that you're doing, this could be like your comedy. This could be the thing or should be the thing you're thinking about. See, I was a music teacher, taught 1st through 7th grade to about 700 kids a week in 2 schools with no office. That was actually the back of the teacher's closet, like where they'd cut paper. They shoved me like Quasimodo off into the corner. I had no classroom. My classroom was a cart that had a keyboard on it that I pushed around. Funny story, not really funny at the time, but funny now, I guess. First week, I run over a sneaker in the 3rd grade hallway with my classroom and knock off my $1,500 MacBook Pro. Ooh. And guess who replaced it? Me, with my teaching salary. Any teachers in the room? Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, I just broke my laptop on the cart you gave me because your kids have shoes in the hallway. Yeah, well, so sorry. That was my job. And when I saw this business, I wasn't only working full-time as a teacher. I was working part-time as a technician at a pharmacy, which was a good job because that's where I met my wife. I used to put pills in a bottle and then hand them to the really cute girl next to me, and then I got to marry her, so that worked too. The $11 an hour wasn't so good, but the end result of that job was okay. And I had a 3rd job. Played piano and organ 3 days a week in a Catholic church. And altogether, made pretty crappy money. I was 25, I'm 31 now. I was 25 at the time, and I bought a ring to propose to the girl that I gave the pills to. But I couldn't afford the ring. I bought it anyway, naturally. I asked her to marry me, and the day I was going to ask her to marry me, her cousin asked me to look at this. What do you think I said? No. No. I'm just too busy. I'm worried about something that's going on today. I get home and my girlfriend's in the kitchen. She's like, babe, oh my God, did you see that thing that Manny sent us? I'm like, yeah. She goes, did you look at it? I'm like, absolutely not. And then she said yes, and guess what? I never thought about Manny that sent me the business presentation. I just never thought, I just was focused on my 3 jobs and getting married. And then he called me like 3 weeks later. Key point, fortune is in the follow-up. If Manny didn't call me, I would have never called him. Certainly not about this. 3 jobs was enough. I wasn't looking for 4. But when I saw it, I saw the end at the beginning. I saw the end at the beginning. I saw that this business might be the thing that could help me get rid of one of the other 3 jobs. I was the ace for Manny. Now he flipped me pretty early. But if he didn't show it to me, he would have never sponsored me. Who's the person you're thinking about showing this business to that you haven't? They could be your ace, and you could be the person that changes their life. You're kind of being selfish to yourself, but also to the person that you're not sharing it with. See, when I saw this, immediately I saw a way out of whatever situation that I was in that maybe you aren't in today. But you could see maybe where you're at, you want more money in retirement. Social Security maybe is not enough. Maybe it's just enough, which is another problem. Maybe you have grandkids or you have children in college or whatever the case may be. But I saw this as the way out of that. And so this became the primary, even though it was the part-time. When I was pushing the cart around, probably why I ran over the damn sneaker, but I put the phone on the cart and I'm pushing it up the hallway trying to set appointments. I'd get on my lunch break and I didn't do anything in the teacher's lounge because all teachers do is talk about each other. I don't know if you can relate, but they stand by the refrigerator, they talk about the person up the hall, the person down the hall, they talk about the administrators, they talk about their crappy pay, and they wouldn't have talked about me working in other business. So no joke, I sat in the corner of my closet or in the bathroom. I mean, this sounds kind of embarrassing, but on the toilet, setting appointments for when work ended, because this was the way out of that. If you're sitting here and you're in the same place that you were a year ago when I came, make it a goal to be in a different place the next time I come. Not for me, but for you, for your kids, for your grandkids. Because this business is an opportunity. It's not given, it's worked for, but it's an opportunity. And you might say, well, that slide that says $11,807, that's, 0.000043% of Connect Associates get. Here's what I saw when I saw that. I saw possibility, not probability. People will tell you, oh, nobody makes any money. No, the people make money here. The ones that don't care about the probability of making the money, they care about the possibility that it can be made. See, for me, as a teacher, there was never a possibility I would make the money that I make today as a teacher. There was never a possibility that they would give me a free Mercedes, paid for by the Westfield Board of Education. No, that wouldn't happen. They just gave me more work when I did work. There was never a possibility that I would go to Playa Harris with amazing people. I went to in-service days, where I went to Atlantic City for the teachers' convention. And I paid my way. This business is possibility. But only if you do the things that Michael J. and Brian and myself talked about, and that we hear about all the time. So I'll kind of close with this final thought. A lot of people in this business get into the business long before the business gets into them. Understand that. A lot of people you bring to this business get into the business long before the business gets into them. So it's your job, when you bring them into the business, to help them get over let's use this awkward black line of tape here, right? When your new associate gets in the business, on this side, it's easier for them to quit, right? The lights are off on this side. They're kind of in the dark. They haven't gotten a check. They haven't met anybody yet. They haven't spoken to anyone. You haven't kind of announce them to anyone. They haven't been to a training, and if they don't do anything, they just, they go into the witness protection program, right? Some of you have people on that program. When you get somebody into the business, your job is to help get the business in them. Introduce them to somebody else. Literally, if you can't get them to come to a meeting, get them on a phone call with somebody just that maybe can relate to them. Even if they're already in the business. I know I'm throwing a lot of things at you, but I see some people writing, and I hope that you're taking a couple of little things from this. See, the exposure process to this business doesn't end when they join. It ends when the business is in them. So if they say, yes, I join, I'm in, all they committed to was paying $99 to start something. And I guarantee you they join because they trust you, not because they trust this. So when they get into the business, I'll give you a perfect example. I sponsored a guy named Joey, top real estate agent for Wykert in New Jersey, when I got back from Synergy. I never met him before. I met him on Facebook. Immediately after he got in the business, he sent me reviews, right? Oh, my friend sent me these reviews. And oh, they told me that my rates are going to go, all this stuff, right? So I said, you know what, Joey? I'd love to introduce you to somebody else in this business who's really successful in real estate. I did a little Facebook group message with him, myself, and Michael J. And I just said, Michael J., can you introduce yourself in the message? He did, and we set up a Zoom call for the three of us. Got on the Zoom call, introduced and edified Michael J. Doesn't matter if he's in my downline or upline or sideline or what position. If they relate, they relate. Got him on this call, and Michael J. related better to Joey than I did. 2 days later, Joey had 6 bills. Now, he hasn't done anything since, but 6 bills is better than 0 bills. And I'll still get him to do more because the business is not in him yet. But it was in him enough to go get qualified. And now I'm going to try to meet him in person because we literally haven't even met in person yet. Then he'll be a little bit further. A little bit further. Maybe I'll get him to All City. And then eventually, they cross the line where it's easier to stay than it is to quit. How many of you would never quit just because you don't want someone to say, I told you that thing wouldn't work? It is now easier for you to stay. Because if you quit, you go, all your people are like, I told you. And then all of a sudden, the people that never answer your calls, all of a sudden, they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry it didn't work out. I'm here for you. Where were you when I needed your electric bill? Once I got on this side, once you get your associates on this side where it's easier for them to stay, you'll keep them. This business is just about keeping people. The problem is we never get them past being in this spot, and they just keep going and going and going out, not in. So if you want to build this business, it starts with you. It starts with doing the things that we talk about doing, and then it's working with the people that say yes to you, not to this. So that eventually, you've got people that stay. I hope that was helpful. I want to thank you all for coming tonight. I appreciate you having me. And as I always say, it's never too late to dream, so go out and get it. Thanks.